After months of waiting, high school football season finally kicked off in Washington. Schools in the South Puget Sound area started first, and many began with rivalry games right out of the gate, including the Fish Bowl between Gig Harbor and Peninsula. Usually 5,000 or 6,000 plus people for this game, but not this time. Didn't matter for the Seahawks. They kept the energy high, and they got a strong running attack. Landon Sims led the way, 7 yards to open the scoring. Second quarter, more from Peninsula and more from the ground. Ethan Hogan gets some nice blocks down to the 2-yard line. Sims would score on the next play to make it 13-0 Seahawks. In the third, Peninsula on the march again. Sims again. He ran for 88 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. Gig Harbor's defense did keep it from being a blowout. Hudson Cedarland blocks a field goal try to keep a few points off the board. Peninsula would answer with their own block. 36-12 the final. They've won 5 straight Fishbowl games in this rivalry series.
It's a mouthful, back to back to back to back to back. It's definitely good to hold that trophy again for another time. Close out a perfect 4-year win streak, freshman through senior year. Feels great, just beating those guys across town over and over again.
Our defensive backs really just kept everything locked down, and then in the trenches, like coaches were saying, we're going to win in the trenches. We're going to win every game in the trenches, and our big men up front really did that.
Staying in 3A, Lincoln has owned the Pierce County League for the past few years, but the Abes ran into a buzzsaw quickly against Spanaway Lake. Gabari Johnson with the screen pass. It bounces into the hands of Daviante Alexander, who rumbles back the other way for the touchdown, and a 7-0 lead for the Sentinels. After an onside kick was fumbled, Spanaway goes right back down the field. Freshman Josh Colley powers the pile over the line to make it 14-0 Spanaway Lake. Turnovers, a massive problem for Lincoln on the ensuing kickoff. Another loose ball, another takeaway for the Sentinels, and it turned into 7 more points. James Dempsey hit Deontay Hayes on the quick out to the left side. He does the rest, 26 yards for another touchdown. Lincoln would wake up from its slumber in the second quarter. Gabari Johnson to LaRon Monroe. Nice rollout, nice grab, 20 yards to get the Abes on the board, but turnovers were too much to overcome. Johnson sacked and stripped by Trish Sullivan. Spanaway Lake earns its biggest win in more than a decade, 34-7 over the Lincoln Abes. In 4A, another rivalry for Game 1, Rogers and Emerald Ridge, the annual King of the Hill game at Sparks Stadium. The Jaguars led 18-0 at halftime, kept their foot on the gas in the third quarter. Chandler Pruitt powered over the goal line. Next possession for the Jags, Dylan Masters finds a gap to cut through. Emerald Ridge up 32-0, and it was ground and pound all second half for the Silver and White. Another late score on the ground, Connor McMullen, 46-0 the final, as Emerald Ridge is once again King of the Hill. For more scores, go to KIRO7.com.